Race is a political and social category, not a biological one. As a political category, the concept of race falsely attempts to homogenize and array groups on a hierarchy of superiority and inferiority, variously justified by science, custom, or law. In the language of social science, the shorthand for this categorization and differentiation is that race is a social construction. Seeing race as a social construction turns mainstream ideas about race on their head. Social construction is anti-essentialist, assuming there are no meaningful biological differences between groups, and thus, there are no inherent qualities confined to any socially defined racial group. Social construction is a potentially liberatory idea that recognizes that all racial groups display the full human range of emotions and intelligence. No group is inherently oppressive or likely to hold a monopoly on truth, beauty, or knowledge. Rather than an eternal, unchanging, and essential identity, race is contextual, malleable, and unstable. Racial classifications have changed dramatically over the course of U.S. and world history. Racial categories vary across societies and between regions within societies. Many individuals have even moved from one racial classification to another over their lifetimes. Because racial categories are unstable, law and social policy have repeatedly attempted to pin them down by citing proportions of blood or ancestry, examining hair texture and skin tone, or even customs and culture. When confronted with the idea that race is a biological fiction, some conclude race should be abandoned as a way of categorizing people and understanding social inequalities. The reasoning behind the urge to abandon race is superficially compelling. See the "There is only one race, the human race" bumper sticker. If race is a collective hallucination, and it is, then why should scholars use it to describe people or differences between groups? If racial categories don't correspond to an underlying essence, then what are they describing? It's tempting to hope that abandoning race as a descriptive category will lead to a post-racial utopia. But the belief that dropping racial categories will lead to transcending racial inequality relies on a basic misunderstanding of what social construction means. Those who advocate for colorblind approaches often presume that race-based inequalities will magically disappear if social scientists and governments stop cataloging and start ignoring them. But the experience of countries like France, whose Republican ideology eschews identity categories, "we are all French," and bans the state collection of data on race, shows that officially ignoring and disregarding racial categories doesn't make inequalities disappear. Despite officially colorblind state policy, France exhibits racial inequality in labor markets and education, and institutionalized discrimination against its Muslim population. Calls to ignore race in practice often mean ignoring racial inequality. Social construction isn't synonymous with not real. Seeing social constructions as not real and therefore ignorable is a common misrepresentation of the terminology. Not coincidentally, this misrepresentation often comes from people opposed to interventions that would alleviate racial inequality. People acting on ideas can greatly impact our reality, even if those ideas bear only a dubious connection to truth. For instance, QAnon conspiracy theorists who believe a gang of Satan-worshipping child sex traffickers controls U.S. politics and media have done quite a bit of damage, despite their ideas having no correspondence to reality. False ideas inspired an adherent of Pizzagate, a precursor to QAnon, to grab his AR-15 and raid a pizza parlor hoping to interrupt a non-existent child trafficking ring. And false ideas propelled QAnon members' participation in the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection, threatening American democracy.